Hey, Margie here. Bone health is so important for our kids and teens, but yet often overlooked. So today we're going to go over what kids can do now to optimize their bone health for the future. And I am so excited about our special guests. We have four of them, and they're called the Holistic Kids: Abdullah, Zain, Emaad, and Qasim Ansari. And they're the hosts of the Holistic Kids Show podcast. They're national speakers and co authors of a fabulous upcoming book, The Teen Health Revolution: Lifestyle Secrets to Optimize Your Mind, Body, and Soul. And in today's interview, we go over things that really all of us can use, but we can teach our kids and grandchildren on how to improve sleep, eating better, relaxation, even things they can do on the bus to improve their day and health. So it's full of so much great information. Stay tuned. Welcome, Holistic Kids. I'm so happy to see you. This is going to be such a fun interview, and I really just been excited because I think the information that you're going to share with everybody is really transformational and missing. And if we're really going to make a difference with bone health, this is where we have to start. So I just can't wait to hear what you're going to share. And thank you so much for joining me here today.
Well, it's really our pleasure.
Yeah, it is our pleasure.
It's so funny because I've known you for years, and it just makes me so happy to see what you've done and the lives you've changed. It's just so wonderful. And I just have to tell everyone that recently I saw all of them at a conference that they won an award because of the work they've done. And this was a conference for holistic practitioners. So it was really a big deal. So first of all, congratulations. Well deserved, but this is just such important work. So before we start, I always like to know the backstory because you didn't start out as the Holistic Kids at all. So you want to share because it's a really interesting story how you got to be the Holistic Kids and what you're doing today. So why don't you give us a little background so we understand why you're so passionate about the work that you're doing?
So during the pandemic, me and Zan, we decided to start a podcast because that's when everyone was worried about their health, and we wanted to find out information that we could use to keep ourselves safe. And so we decided, our mom was like, "Why don't you try it out? You guys have time." And we were like, "Why not?" And so I was around 12, Zan was around 9. And so just from there, we started to do podcast after podcast, and we realized how beneficial it was for the world and how many people were actually benefiting from it. And we decided to continue doing it because it was benefiting us more than we could even imagine.
Definitely. And especially post COVID, I saw all the issues going on at school when my best friend, he uh, he sent me a death threat. So why would you send a death threat to your best friend if your mind wasn't working? So that was just a big realization that, you know what, we need to actually start focusing on the teen world a lot, because the kids and teens, we're all messed up, and it's because we're not really eating or being connected to the world as we were supposed to.
So then, after interviewing 200 experts, or like 100, like 50-ish at that time, we were like, oh wow, because like this is a lot of podcast. We wanted to like do something for like the world. I didn't want to make a revolution. So we were like, oh, we should make a pod. We should make a book, and then so every teen could hold in their hands as a research a guide, as like all 200 episodes like just put in to the book.
Wow, I love the book because I got to see a preview of it because I know it's coming out in December. So I got to see an online preview, and I mean, actually, the book, it's amazing because the funny thing is, someone looking at it from my lens, all of the issues that affect adults and all the root causes of osteoporosis are also issues that affect teens and even younger children. And it's just so amazing that if we deal with them at a younger age, guess what? it really impacts your bones and overall health. So the information that you're teaching the teens is exactly what everybody needs to know. So it's not really different information, but it's just taking it down to a level that so often isn't talked about. I think it's so important. Well, let's just even backtrack before the podcast and before the book. Because you didn't start off eating well and doing all these things yourself. Do you want to even, I love how you tell the story in the book, but you want to just give us a brief synopsis of before that, how you even changed your eating habits and why you did that and what you noticed from doing that.
So we like went through step by step.
Yeah, we started at before we even started all this, we were really unhealthy. We were eating fast food, sugary drinks, like all the time.
Yeah, like my favorite was, Fanta and flaming hot Cheetos.
Yeah,
No.
when that is not something that we eat anymore.
Mhm.
But at the time, we didn't know anything. So we thought that this was normal because we liked that it tasted good. So we could really we were addicted. And as our mom, she started learning more. She taught us more. So as we would grow older, we would start getting rid of certain things like ultra processed foods or GMOs or just a brand. Like we stopped having McDonald's, but we still went to stuff like Popeyes. But just doing it step by step, it made it a lot easier for us to grow into the habit of
Yeah, it basically allowed us to be able to educate ourselves.
Yeah.
Because Zain had eczema out and Emaad had allergies, sinus issues. Like I remember Zain would be like red all over, he'd be scratching, and we didn't want to. And Zain can probably tell a story. Zain got that, right?
Yeah, so we were basically we were all super sick with all these different chronic issues. And especially our mom realized that, you know what, maybe we start getting rid of something like cheese. So we started getting rid of dairy and stuff, and it really just fixed us and started helping. And then we realized, and then our mom, she did lots more research and she started teaching us. So as we started growing, we started learning about all these different types of ways that we could really heal our gut.
Yeah, and that's why now all of us we don't suffer from any chronic diseases whatsoever. Like all the eczema, sinus issues, I had some problems as well. So is Qasim, and they're all completely gone.
Hey, Margie here. As a physical therapist, I know firsthand how important exercise is for our bones, overall health, and happiness. And unfortunately, there's a lot of confusion on what exercises are safe and effective for people with osteoporosis. That's why I created this handout that contains a 30-minute video where I explain the concepts so you understand the do's and don'ts when it comes to exercise. And this is important because this way you can go into any class and know what you should be doing and what you should avoid. Because too many people are doing exercises that actually increase their risk of spinal fractures. I also included videos of me demonstrating effective balance, posture, and weight-bearing exercises you can put into your day right away. So all you need to do to access this handout, it's free, is go to tinyurl.com/osteoporosis exercises. So it's tinyurl.com, again, /osteoporosis exercises, or you can click the link in the show notes. Now back to the show. It's so amazing because your parents are both physicians and your family is physicians. So, here you are brought up with conventional doctors initially until your mother really realized there's another way. And it's just because these are things that plague so many people. So many children have eczema, so many children have digestive issues, sinus issues. They're just so common. And it's unfortunately not the first thing people think of. Well, maybe we should look at our diet, right? There's so many other things. And so I love that you've brought this out. And I think it's just wonderful now that you've transformed your life. And for everybody Their mom is Dr. Medea Saeed, who is a good friend of mine I've known for such a long time, has written so many books and really changed the world with the work that she's done. And now the next generation, it just makes me so happy to see that you've taken this on as your own mission and really changing the world for teens. So let's talk about bone health because that's what everybody's listening to. And the truth is, if we're going to make a difference in bone health, we need to start here. And, I don't think people realize that. Like people think, oh, this is something that really just affects adults. Like they don't realize that what is done in children totally impacts their bones as adults. And it was very interesting because there was a bone remodeling model that they did, and they published it in Osteoporosis International. And this really shocked me. But they said if you could just raise bone density by 10% in childhood, that would push back if someone was going to get osteoporosis 13 years. That's huge. So what is done in childhood and adolescence when bones are growing is just so, so important because I also think people don't realize that people have 90% of their peak bone is built by 18 in girls and 20 in boys. So this is so important. So share with us what you think could really help people with their bone health.
Look, teenagers, we all have the mindset. I think I can speak pretty clearly that I don't want to. Who cares about right now? Once I get older, then I'll focus on like bone health. Once I'm like 50, 40, like then I'll care about that stuff. Right now, let me just be a teen. Let me be like enjoy myself, do whatever I want, to do like whatever I want with my body, etc. But that's completely the wrong mindset. We talk about this with gut health. We talk about this with exercise. We talk about this with sleep, with everything. Take Teens need to take care of their body now. Otherwise, years now in the future, they'll be regretting all the choices that they made. I know maybe like a lot of adults now, they're like, oh, I shouldn't have done that when I was a teen. Teens need to start being mindful about what we're actually doing to our body so that we can properly have the life that we want in the future. Because let me tell you, no teen wants to be sick in the future.
I couldn't agree with you more. But how do you get this message to the teens? Because they're just not thinking about it. Is it only when they don't feel well themselves? Or what's your suggestion? Because there are a lot of parents, there are a lot of grandparents listening to this who have taken these steps and they're doing this themselves. They're eating well, they're working on their gut, they're exercising, they're reducing their stress, all these great things that you talk about. But how do you get them to really translate? What are some of your tricks so that they can, what do you suggest for teens? Like can we even talk to them about it or make them realize this is so important?
So first of all, I think the most important thing for adults, for kids, for teenagers is education. Teens don't want to care about their health, their bone health,
Mm-hmm.
mostly because they don't know about their bone health. No teen is taught in school or by their parents that if you eat, Doritos all the time, it'll affect your bone health. No teen is ever taught these kind of things, and if we want to be able to create change, teens need to take control of their body, start educating themselves. Parents need to start being good role models as well, and they need to teach us how to take care of our bodies because we were lucky and fortunate to have a mom that was able to teach us.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel if every single teen went out and did that and educated themselves and did and looked up, okay, what does this do to my bones? What does this do to my body? The world would be so much different.
So true. I couldn't agree more. So what are your top tips for people with their bone health? What would you suggest? Where do people start? Because this is, right, typical teen is eating the Doritos and eating everything and not even realizing it has an impact on their bones and overall health. So where
Mm-hmm.
do you tell people to start? Where do you suggest when you're talking to teens?
Most teens, they're only taught that calcium comes from milk and that calcium's really good for your bones, so drink a lot of milk. So they think, okay, for my bones, I'll just chug up a lot of milk, just drink it, and my bones will be fine. But then after that, they just go straight to ultra processed food and toxins that could weaken their bone health and make it weaker. So I think just eliminating some ultra processed foods that affect your bone health, or just ultra processed foods in general, just eliminate it from your diet. I mean, just maybe just take it step by step, but definitely if you can just start.
Limiting how many ultra processed foods you have, and
Yeah.
actually stop eating ultra processed foods. We know that it sounds almost impossible. Like, my God, not stop eating Doritos and Takis. Like that's what we hear when we tell like our peers and stuff, because it seems almost impossible because we're now addicted. And because we're addicted, we are overeating fake foods, we call them. And we're continuing to destroy our body like never before. I mean, chronic diseases on a rise, mental health issues are on a rise, obesity, diabetes, poor gut, like almost all of these can be prevented if we actually focused on the gut and we're able to actually, decrease inflammation, fix our oxidative stress, and actually put our bodies back into balance. Because without, like, we talk about this all the time, if your gut has a problem, your brain is gonna have a problem. And if your gut has a problem, every single part of your body has a problem, whether it's your eyes, your bones, your everything that happens in your life. You can't achieve anything if you don't have good health, and that includes good bones.
So true, and the gut is always the first place I start at too, because what people don't realize is that, am I right that so many teens have issues with their gut and nobody really pays attention to it? Do you find that that's so common?
Margie Bissinger.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really common.
Yeah, it's really common. And it happens when we're adults, people, are like, oh, we have to fix this. But just think of all the damage when when your gut isn't functioning properly, you're not absorbing your nutrients. It can be causing inflammation. So many things. You need these building blocks for your bones, and you're not getting them. And it's often not addressed. So I love that that's, something that's so important. And just a simple step, like you said, just removing the ultra processed foods. And I guess for parents and grandparents, and you can help me with this because it's okay. Like I know your mom makes the most delicious desserts and cakes and things. So it's not as though we're depriving, we're just changing, right? When it comes to real food. So it's not, I think that if people, everyone thinks, oh, I have to give them all this junk, but you don't. You agree? Like you eat amazing and delicious, but yet it's nutritious.
I think one of the biggest problems now is that parents need to be good role models. If the parents are eating ultra processed foods, like the teen is obviously gonna eat ultra processed foods. They're gonna be like, if you're doing it, I'm gonna do it. And I know that if a lot of adults and parents, they want their teens to do it, but the first step is for adults and parents to educate themselves and to change themselves so that the teens will then follow.
Do you hear this, parents and grandparents? Did you hear what this is so important. You're right. If you're doing really well, then the grandchildren come over and you give them the junk of all junk. And people are like, oh, it's just once in a while. But the sugar is so damaging. And I don't think people realize. They just think, a lot of times people use it as a reward. Oh, you did so great. Let's get you the biggest chocolate sundae. And there's other ways, am I right? You can have honey.
Mhm.
There's other ways to do delicious food, and I can attest for your mom's cooking and baking because it's so good. So in your book, you call what I loved the acronym for revolution, the steps that you teach people to take. Do you want to say what each one stands for? Because I thought that was a brilliant way to just sort of organize all the things that you feel and you found are so important for children, not even children, teens and adults. The lovely thing is, yes, this is for teens because you're teens, but the information that you're teaching people really is also fantastic for adults because all the things, the blood sugar, the sugar, all those things affect your bones. So it helps all multi-generational. Why don't you tell us what the revolution stands for?
So R
Revolutionize the gut.
E
Eat real food.
V
Vanquish toxins.
O
Stress management,
Optimize.
optimizing stress management.
L love nature. U
Uniting with others.
T, tech limits. I,
Invest in sleep.
O,
Open to gratitude and purpose.
N.
And navigate your decisions with mindfulness.
Ah, I love this. So I know your mom, when, here she is, a physician, and she talks about inflammation. And when I asked her a while ago, like, what's the first thing you do? She's like, I teach gratitude. So what habits do you tell the teens? Because it's not something people think of. What are there any certain habits that you share in the book in terms of gratitude? Because I think it's super powerful.
So what we used to do, what our mom taught us, because that's like the best way, and that's what we do now, is first of all, we every single morning when we wake up, we used to have like a thankful song. So when we were kids, she made it fun for us. Like it wasn't boring. We'd say we're thankful for our eyes, we're thankful for our ears. But now that we're older, like on the bus, before when I go to school, even in the morning for 2 minutes, I just, look around me and I say, what am I thankful for? I'm thankful for my eyes, thankful for my ears. Some people, they write it down, which also really helps a lot. And I think if teens were able to actually practice gratitude, the world would be in a better place. Because I would go completely honest, teens are some of the most negative people I've ever met. Like I hate my life, I hate school, I hate homework. And what gratitude does is it shifts that mindset from negative to positive. And if you can do that, and if you have that mindset, you can do anything.
Wow, you're talking my language because I teach a happiness program, and it's so true. Unfortunately, we are wired for negativity, and what we focus on grows. So when we're sitting there, but that's so sad that you're saying, is that what you really find with all the teens, that they really are emphasizing the negative and what's not working instead of shifting to the positive? And gratitude does that. It's like the antidote to stress. So I love, and you do it on the bus, so it's not even taking up more time. Do all of you practice the gratitude in the morning? Is that something all of you do?
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Especially when I wake up, I like to go outside, take a drink of water, and just like look around, think of nature, and just think about all the things I'm grateful for. Like, or just walking to the bus. I'm grateful for everything, and I can just look at the sunset and just, it's so nice. Sunrise.
Wow. So it's so interesting. And do you find by doing that, that shifts your day?
Definitely. It makes my subconscious more optimistic and more happy, I feel like.
I love that. That's just so wonderful. Wow. Yeah.
Our subconscious covers 90% of our actions and thoughts. So having a positive subconscious is very good.
Yeah, it really does. I feel the same way. The lens that you look through the world in is gonna, that's your experience. As I said, what you focus on grows. And so it's so sad. But that makes me sad that you're saying that the teens, what you find is they're really focusing on the negative. So we need to change this as early as possible. And I think that's so important that you put that in the book in terms of, something that's really critical. What are the other things that you've found really make the biggest difference?
I think habit stacking. Zen, you want to say about that?
So habit stacking is when you collect different habits and put it under the same time period. So let's say what I would mention before, I wake up early in the morning, I get a drink of water, I go outside, I'm listening to the birds while thinking about what I'm grateful for. That's 4 right there. Hydrating, getting out into nature, being grateful, and being mindful.
And like Zan just mentioned, it's all under being mindful. I mean, for me and what our mom taught us was like when you go outside or when you're in the home or when you just wanna like when you have nothing to do, maybe instead of just going to your phone and just, scrolling and scrolling and scrolling, think, what am I feeling in this moment? What am I tasting in this moment? How do I feel in this moment? What what are my sensations? Like, what am I touching? Or what do I smell? And just doing this just grounds you and then taking a deep breath in, because if you're able to control your body like that and you're able to ground yourself, I mean, it helps your mood, it helps your physical state, your mental state, your emotional state, and it definitely probably helps your bones as well.
Mindfulness is so important because you can really just be present in the world, because most people, most teens, people, just everyone around the world, we're always thinking about the future or the past or what's going to happen next, and constantly running from activity to activity, just like shoving whatever we want in our mouth. When we're mindful, we can really just be present and really think about what we're putting into our mouth, like what's happening around us, what, like, let's say,
Yeah.
what we taste, what we feel.
And as
My-
into teens, trust me, at first when I started doing it, I thought it was like a little bit like, childish, like just sitting and doing all this stuff. But honestly, it like changed my day. Like your day feels so much better. You're so much more calm and relaxed, and everything about your body is just it's more yours. And I think that's what teens, we live in a day and age where teens especially, they feel like they don't own their body, that they are not in control, and that they don't feel comfortable in their body. And doing this allows us teens to be able to take back control of our bodies.
You guys are so wise, and I couldn't agree more because people are disassociated from their body, and their body gives them so much information. But the biggest thing, I think, with all illnesses, but with the bones, people don't realize that stress really matters. Cortisol, the stress hormone, increase in cortisol actually breaks down your bone. And so it's so silly to wait till we're 50, 60, and we see, and then we tell, what kind of stress reduction techniques can you do? But the best thing, I think, because also a lot of people live in overwhelm, and that's true when you're worried about the past, or or if not worried, but you're focusing on the past, like what went wrong, and you're worried about the future. That's overwhelmed. But if you live in the moment, and people don't do this, live in the present. I teach this too. It changes everything, because then you can taste what you're tasting. You're feeling nature, just like you beautifully explained. It's a different life. And it's just something I'm so thrilled that this is part of what you're teaching and what's in the book, because these aren't minor things that this translates. It really goes into every aspect of your life. And this is what I see is missing. Like, yes, you can change your diet, which is very important. But if you don't change these pieces, the mindfulness and living in the moment and all that stress, that's going to really have negative effects on every organ in the body, including your bones. So I think it's such a game changer. And I think it's amazing at this age that you've learned that. Okay, can we talk about one of my favorite things that really upsets me is exercise? What have you found? What do you see now? What do you see with the teens in exercise? What's going on these days?
Well, right now, actually, the studies have come out that 80% of teens don't get the adequate amounts of exercise they should be getting. And we know there's a bunch of teens that just sit in their basement playing video games and, just scrolling for like 6 hours a day, even in like when like I know back in your generation, our mom back when she was little, like kids, they used to go play outside, run around, get activity. And now even like in Emaad's class, in Qasim's class, like kids, right, Emaad?
Yeah, they're just playing video games.
Mm-hmm. And Emaad was like, yeah, Emaad, you can tell them.
And like everybody's just like bragging on how much they play. And like some kids are talking about them playing like 10 hours a day, and I was like, that's not good. You shouldn't do that.
Mhm.
So
And
what
so,
do
right,
you recommend? What do you, I mean, exercise is so much fun and so wonderful, but how do you get them? Like, any recommendations for people listening and their kids are sitting on the computers and sitting at the video games and sitting on their phone? What do you tell them?
first of all, the more you move, the better you will feel. Because let me tell you, all those people that sit there and they don't do anything, it doesn't feel good for their body. Your body wants to move. You want to feel better. You want to have more energy. You want to think better. You want to do better in your tests. You want to be smarter. You need to move. And nobody wants in the future to be, not having good muscles or not being able to move properly and having joint problems and, you know, problems that a lot of people who lacked exercise before start to face. So get exercise. You don't even have to go, like, just go outside. go for a walk. Our mom just takes us on walks sometimes, maybe do the bicycle, do like some jumping jacks, get some push-ups. Like, come on, 5 push-ups a day, 1 push-up a day. It's not that hard. Anybody can do it, and it's all about consistency.
So true. It's interesting because jumping, you mentioned jumping jacks. Jumping puts a great force on the bones and it can really make a huge difference. Do jumping jacks every day and do jumps or jump rope like we used to do, hopscotch, all those things. It really changed it. Do you think parents, like you said before, that they should be the role models? Do you think that would help if parents are exercising and make exercising a family event, that could be something helpful? What do you think?
Yeah. Yeah, I think so because just teens they listen to their parents.
Yeah.
No, like this.
No, they don't listen to, but teens model after their parents. Like if the
Event.
So I know from what our mom used to do. She used to take us to like we used to sometimes like to be inside because we're kids. Right? We used to just like to play games and stuff. And she used to be like, okay, half an hour, maybe once a week, we're gonna go and we're gonna go take you to like a park or something. And so when we go to the park, like we used to hate going there. But we was like, no, we don't want to go sometimes because we're kids. Like we want to go after school. We want to go and play and stuff in home. But she used to take us. We used to go to the park, and when we used to get there, we used to run around. We used to jump, but we used to climb what we could find. We used to go on the hikes. We used to run. We used to walk, and we used to see our mom doing that as well. And we realized that you know if she can do it, if she's doing it, we might as well do it with her sometimes.
Yeah, so sometimes just having the opportunity, right, just to be taken somewhere. What about school sports and things? Have you found are a lot of the teens involved in school sports? Because that could definitely help.
Yes, especially school sports, they motivate you to constantly, because especially like when being on a sport team, they motivate you to constantly keep working and keep trying to get better and better and better. And I think just when more kids are like into these team sports and stuff, first of all, they exercise a lot more, but also they're uniting with other kids who are also exercising a lot
Mhm.
and stuff like that. So I feel like it's gonna be really fun, especially if it's something that they really love, it'll be amazing. So school sports are definitely good.
'Cause Zan's in cross country, and from when and the kids when they go out there, sometimes they don't really like to run as much. And once they start exercising, they start getting more into it. They start to enjoy it more and more and more and more.
Yeah, I love that, and it really makes such a difference. So what other top tips do you have? These are so good, and I think each one is so life-changing, like, every single thing you write about in the book is so important, and I just think about it. That's why I just so thrilled and I just give you guys so much credit because since sharing this with the younger people is what's going to make the big difference. And we just need to get the word out because it's so transformational. And why don't we all want to feel good? And why wait to start dealing with it when we're older, when what we can do when we're young, we'll just feel better, we'll have more energy. Well, it's just such a win-win. So what are some other top tips that you want to share with everybody listening?
So I think like because people often do it, like it's good to build strong bones. But to build strong bones, you need to get a lot of vitamin D, enough vitamin D. Like vitamin D are crucial for the bone mineralization. Good sources of calcium include dairy products, um, greens. Vitamin D can also contain the sun and foods like fatty fish.
Yeah, it's really important. And I think it's something that all the pediatricians should check. Make sure people are getting enough vitamin D because a lot of people don't, and that can really have a big impact on your bones. Such a good point. Anything else that we want to share with everybody that we think super important?
Because ev- every every day at school, um, they do mindfulness, like they do like deep breathing, and they to start your day, they do deep breathing.
And we know how deep breathing, like you think, oh, when I become an adult, or like then I'll start taking more deeper breaths. I'll start taking life more slower. But deep breathing actually, helps kids as well. And if you equip like someone younger, like Qasim, who's in 5th grade, with deep breathing and mindful breathing, once they become an adult and they become a teen, they're going to be able to use that tool to become a better person.
Let's dive into this a little more because it's a stressful world. There's so many things now going on, and a lot of them are scary. You hear about all sorts of things in the news, and there can be a lot of fear, and there can be a lot of reasons why you're tense and you want to relax. So deep breathing is something you have all the time. How do you teach teens? Like, do you have any favorite ways that you teach deep breathing to people or that you recommend that they do it in school? Is there certain things that really work?
So, when it comes to deep breathing, first of all, just take a deep breath. Like, breathe in through your nose, hold, and then exhale.
Yeah, like box breathing.
Yeah.
Take a deep breath for 4 seconds. Hold for 4 seconds. And then exhale for 4 seconds. And this can just and if you do this every single day, you will feel more energized, and you will feel more relaxed and stressed, because in today's society, we're moving from activity to activity, from like place to place, just running from one area to another, and we're not taking the time to just rest and relax, and because life is not supposed to be this fast paced.
Also, for me, when I was taking tests and stuff, before the test, like right before a test, you're the most busy. You're trying to get as much notes, and you're just like trying to absorb all the knowledge you knew from the past few weeks, and you're going through all your notes, and it's chaotic. And then sometimes I just take a deep breath, just for a few seconds, and then right before the test, and I'm able to think so much better. And I think any teen that's able to do that will honestly live a better life. I think I'm safe to say that anyone who is able to do that lives a better life.
I couldn't agree more, and it's true. I love the box breathing. It's simple. You in for 4, hold for 4, and exhale. And just doing that, and you're not talking about things that cost a lot of money or that take a lot of time. Do you recommend people doing it throughout the day, regardless of how their day is, and then they also have it for those stressful times? What's your favorite practice, or just waiting for those stressful times?
Yeah, like
So,
maybe but when we wake up or before we sleep, and like the midday before, I feel like just before any activity, or that we should just maybe take a nice mindful breath.
also, our mom, what she used to do, so she used to teach us box breathing, or she used to teach us breathing when we weren't stressed. So even if we weren't stressed, she used to teach it to us so that when we were stressed, we would be able to know what to do. And I think that's so important, because if you only teach it when they're stressed, then it's only when I'm stressed thing. But honestly, you don't even have to be stressed. You can be relaxed and do it, and it's still so many benefits.
You know what it does, which is just so great? It lowers, when something comes, you want to be able to ride the waves. And if you're already stressed up here and something happens, it tips you over. But if you do the deep breathing, it puts you down to another level. And then you can ride the waves. And if something comes up, you go with it. So it's such a good tip. I can't get over they do it in school. I haven't heard about that. That's pretty amazing that they do that in school. Good. That's fantastic. I guess they read your book, right? That's not out yet, but I guess they read your podcast. Is there anything else that you want to share? I mean, this book is incredible, and show everybody the book because it's really. I was so glad I got to see this. Okay.
Yeah.
Definitely go check out the book. We talked about probably like a very small portion of it, and there's so much more in the book that you can really benefit. Practical tips.
So this is for the parents, the grandparents, and for the teens as well. Do you think the teens will actually read the book? What do you think?
Yeah, because we made it so practical.
Mhm.
We made it like a handbook. So anytime you're going through anything, or you want to just learn about sleep, go to the book, see what we say. We put in at the end of each chapter, what do the holistic kids do? And honestly, as any teen who wants to become a better person, who wants to better themselves, this is the perfect thing. It's simple, easy, practical. And I think any teen, any kid, and even any adult that wants to learn something simple that they can implement into their life today would really benefit from this book.
Yeah, I'm so excited about it. I think it's life-changing. I'm so happy you did it because as I said, and I focus on bones, but everything else as well, and happiness and all these things you talked about today. At the end of the day, we want to have joy in our life. We have one life here. We want it to be as happy and fulfilled as we can. And, doing some of these habits, it's going to start early on. Why not make your life the best it can possibly be, besides being healthy and better for every system in your body? So it's true, though. When I was looking at the book, I love how you have the practical things and it's doable. Because before we end, though, sleep is really a big problem. And a lot of kids are so worried and have issues going through their minds. So what's your top tip on sleep? What do you tell people?
Before you go to sleep, either turn off your phone, put it on silent. Don't look at your phone you don't use your phone like an hour before sleep,
Mhm.
at least. And if you really can't, deal with it and it's too much, put it in a different room. We've had people on our podcast, experts, we asked them the same question. And they said, before you go to sleep, put it downstairs on the counter, charge it over there. Don't keep it in the same room as you while you sleep. And for teens, I one of the biggest reasons we don't get enough sleep is because we're doom scrolling. I think for also adults as well. We doom scroll until 2 a.m., which is obviously not good for us.
Isn't that crazy that something like that it has such a detrimental effect and people don't realize it. It's not really out in the open that is not something healthy to do. People have no clue about that. Oh, so I love that. I do that too. I keep it in a whole nother room. I unplug my Wi-Fi at night and but to tell kids to do that, to tell teens to do that but I guess they'll feel better, like, right? See your energy. You want to have energy to enjoy your life. So well, this has been so great. Did I miss anything that you definitely want to get out to people? Anything else?
I think just eating. I think the last thing to leave everyone with is eating the rainbow.
Mhm.
Mm.
Mhm.
A lot of people think that just eating vegetables and fruits are just okay. Now I have to eat just carrots and apples. I don't want to just eat carrots and apples. That's just like boring. But we're telling everyone to just eat the rainbow. There's so much different types of fruits and vegetables that can fit the needs of every single person. And each color is so important in their own different way to the human body.
Also, we're just clarifying. We're not talking about eating Skittles. We're talking about the natural rainbow.
Mhm.
The natural rainbow.
It's so true because, again, for bones, for everything, we need all the different nutrients and all the vitamins. But when you do eat the different colors and the rainbow, that's a wonderful way. And it's a wonderful way to start too, just to look at your plate. I think that's such good advice and see how many colors are on your plate. It's like sort of like a game, right? Like, can we add some more colors to this or what can we do? And that will really, again, not Skittles, just like you said, not M&Ms. That's so great. Well, tell everybody, so when is the book coming out? What's the date?
So
So it used to be November 13th, but they changed it to December 11th. So now, yeah, let's look out for December 11th.
And so what people can do though, they can pre-order it. That's the best news, right? And
Yes.
and then there's some bonuses, correct? That I think are really special. And I think people can share that with their kids, their grandchildren. So you want to just tell about the bonuses? So when they buy the book, these are free, correct? The bonuses?
Yes, these bonuses are free and they just come with the book when you buy it. So the book is mainly made for to get people thinking, but we really want people to get doing because so these bonuses are they're stress busting and school lunches and we have recipes and shopping lists just if so we can get teens really moving.
Oh, I love that. So when someone pre-orders it, can they get the bonuses too?
Yes.
yes.
Okay, great. So we'll have all that in the show notes. Wow. Well, I am so excited. And I just can imagine all the lives you guys are going to change with what you're doing. And it's been so fun because I've known you for years. I was on your podcast years ago. And I can't get over how you've grown and now you've turned it into a book and you just won this big award. So kudos to you guys. You are really living. You're not just saying it, you're actually living it. And I think you're a role model for so many people. And I just hope everybody who's listening gets this to their grandchildren or children, and just to spread this word, because this is where we're going to really change the trajectory of bone health. If we can start young, will improve bone density. People will be doing things to stimulate their bones, and it's going to change it's sort of like a bank. You put the money in when you're younger, and then if you lose some when you're older, you withdraw, you still have a good foundation. Well, the same thing with the bones. So all the things you're talking about are going to create that foundation, and so it will just make such a difference. So thank you so much for joining me. It's such a pleasure, and best of luck. I'm so excited for you guys.
Thank
Well,
you
thank you
so
so much.
much.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, it really is.
We're so honored.
Yeah, so honored.
Thanks.
Bye-bye. Oh, wait.
Bye-bye.
I hope you enjoyed my interview with the Holistic Kids. They're really amazing. And what they talked about today is so powerful for everyone, regardless of your age. But if we can start young and train our children and teens in these fabulous habits, I really believe miracles can happen. We can change the trajectory of osteoporosis. We can improve just overall health as well, reduce stress, increase happiness. It's just a win-win situation. So all the links to their new book, which I'm a big fan of, The Teen Health Revolution, it will be in the show notes. And if you order it, there are also great bonuses that come with it. So thank you so much for tuning in, and I look forward to seeing you on the next episode.